Hey everybody, I hope you liked my last top 10 video. I chose to do a non-anime list as there are hundreds of anime top 10s out there. This one, however, will be anime themed like normal. Now, I'm not going to be doing a top 10 favorite anime women video for the sole reason that my top 10 fave anime women are, and those of you who know me will know this, 10 of my 13 angels. And I've already introduced my 13 angels in an earlier video, although I've changed 2 since then. So, what I've decided to do is do a top 10 anime women who are not my 13 angels video. Now, doing this video is a bit tricky since I have well over 200 favorites in my favorite anime girls / women folder, and choosing just 10 would be difficult for anyone. However, I've given it some thought and I've made my choices. I'm sure you all know the rules of these top 10 videos, but for those of you who are new to them, 1 character per franchise, no ties, and do not take anything in this seriously. And if you don't see any of your favorites here, then do your own video, okay? Okay. Now, let's do this thing. Beginning the list is someone who faces challenges on a daily basis. She is in one of those friendships, the kind you can't get out of, and therefore has to put up with the hijinks of an idiot and a spacehead. While this can be funny at times, you do have to wonder how she puts up with it. At number 10 is Sonia. I do have to question what kind of school accepts a professional assassin as a student. Then again, the place did apparently have a ninja club. Whatever. Sonia makes this list due to her badassery. Yes, I know that's not a word. While she's always tensed up and violent, can you blame her? She is an assassin after all, and she even said it herself. I never know whether someone's after me. Sonia's skills do come in handy though. Yasuno always gives her an excuse to practice. Of course, I'm pretty sure that Yasuno is actually a masochist. It's still hilarious though, watching Sonia torture her. But this is also why Sonia makes the bottom of this list. Her lack of self-restraint. While it's true that Yasuno obviously deserves most of the pain, Sonia could maybe try to learn to hold herself back at times. She does go over the top a lot. Seriously, sweetheart, you are eventually going to kill that idiot one day. At 9 is someone who I really feel sorry for. She gets so much stick from her so-called friends, and even her teacher at times. I know most people find it funny, but a line has to be drawn somewhere. I mean, don't people know that Kurumi Momose has feelings? Okay, she doesn't have any distinguishing characteristics. I get it. But I'll bet you anything there are people out there who wish they could be normal like Kurumi. And besides, there's far more to her than that. She's a hard worker and a really sweet girl. And at least in my book, she's beautiful. Give her a break, people. However, she's not completely scot-free. I'm putting her in 9 because, while the fact that she constantly gets stick annoys me somewhat, she doesn't do anything about it. When she gets called plain or boring, what does she do? Falls into depression and hides in the rabbit hutch. Okay, Kurumi, I know you hate getting called boring, but seriously, why don't you do something about it? You have no special traits? Go find one. Get out into the world and find something that defines you. I know I sound like I'm overreacting with this, but that's just how I roll. Coming in 8th is the unreliable yet sexy as hell club president. Someone who will grind your nerves and at the same time make you laugh. And while she may be a bit of an underachiever, she makes up for it with her skill with twigs. Any guesses? You bet. Ritsu. Now, this may surprise some of you who know me. Yes, K-On! Is indeed one of my top favorite anime shows, up there with shows like Lucky Star and the more recent edition, Gochumon wa Usagi desu ka. So you may be asking why Ritsu is so low on this list. Well, there are two reasons. First, my history with her. In the early days, I didn't particularly like Ritsu. I by no means hated her, I just didn't like her and her character. However, when the dub came out, she grew on me, and I have ultimately come to adore her, but I still have to take the early days into consideration. Reason number 2, Season 1, Episode 11. That, to this day, remains her major Achilles heel. It is the thing that costs her points. Her behavior towards Mio and Nodoka in the early part of that episode, I cannot find anything but inexcusable. Some of you other K-On! Fans may find that to be a small thing, but to me, it's big. But putting those things aside, I still love her. She's funny, she's sexy, she's a bloody good drummer, and she earns her place at number 8. At 7 is someone who I have a long history with. I first came across her in a game during my college years, and I also found her anime form during the same time. Of course, I didn't know what anime was back then, and looking back, I really wish I did. So at number 7, we have Rena Lanford. Now, even though I wasn't aware of the otaku culture in college, Rena was, for a good while, my first anime, dare I say it, love. I was crazy about her, just like how old KHF was crazy about Haruhi Suzumiya. I had at least a dozen pictures of her, and she was on my mind a lot. I'm not sure how many people know about the Star Ocean series, of which Second Story is the game where I met Rena. While she might not be one of my angels anymore, Rena still holds a special place in my heart. I still love her, though not like that anymore. She's incredibly sweet, very caring, and though a bit spirited at times, makes the list at number 7. And if you haven't watched Star Ocean EX, I ask all of you to at least find an anime description, and if it tickles your fancy, watch the anime. Slaughtering her way into the 6th spot is someone you really want on your side in a fight. She's a bit of a psychopath, but she is incredibly popular and drop-dead gorgeous. The more I think about it, the more I realize that it would be a crime not to have her here. At 6 is none other than Saiko Busujima. This woman rocks. Those who have seen High School of the Dead will know what I mean. FYI, I am not referring to the scene with the Humvee, okay? Saiko is literally a psycho. We all know that from her backstory. But personally, I don't care, and I don't think any of her fans care. Having that side of her obviously proved handy. Also, her fairly vulnerable side adds some kawaii to her. You want to know what I think? Takashi should ditch Rei and go with Saiko instead. They are a much better pair. As I've said, Saiko has a sadistic side, but that may be her best quality, and it lands her at number 6. At 5 is the lone wolf of this group. This girl endured hardship after hardship during her endless quest to save her friend. Her resolve to change her future kept her going through every failure, constantly pushing her forward to a goal she ultimately didn't reach. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Homura Akemi. Her determination was actually very admirable. When she failed to save Monica, she just reset time and tried again. Exactly how many timelines she had been through is never explained, though it's obvious that it was a lot. I have to admit, I was a bit surprised to find out what Homura was originally like. Seeing that she had a frail and vulnerable side was quite the plot twist. And would a person really change that much that quickly? I do have to question that. I also feel sorry about how she was treated by everyone. Then again, the girls didn't know about Homura. Still, they could have at least given her a chance. Sayaka and Mami especially. Well, I can't really blame them for their suspicion. But what Homura lacks in trustworthiness, she makes up for in battle. Damn, she is good. And for that, she makes 5. Battling her way to 4 is someone who I would gladly follow. A person who leads her troops well, can hold her own in the fight, and is beyond respectable. One of my top favorite characters and exceptionally beautiful. Reaching number 4 is Yuri Nakamura. I wonder what drove Key Visual Arts to model Yuripi and Battlefront to some degree after the SOS Brigade and Haruhi. And if you've seen both anime and don't see the resemblance, there is something wrong with you. Of course, there is one big difference between the girls. And I'm not referring to how Battlefront uses weaponry while the SOS Brigade searches for the supernatural. I'm referring to the fact that Yuripi respects her team members, while Haruhi does not. Yes, I know that Haruhi changes a bit during the Endless 8 arc, but that isn't good enough to change my statement. She is still a heartless, maniacal bitch. Yuri, on the other hand, is completely different. Yes, she mistreats Hinata from time to time, but that's actually funny. She cares for her team. When they all died in those booby traps, she questioned her proficiency as a leader. That by itself should show how good she is. Plus, she's beautiful and at times hilarious. It would be hard not to love her. Reaching the 3rd spot of this list is the largely emotionless carpenter's daughter. This girl always makes me smile whenever I see her. She may not crack a grin herself very often, but Karin Machina doesn't need to. She reminds me so much of Rin Tezuka. I imagine I'm the only one who thinks that. Tomoko is really lucky to have a friend like Kana. She's just plain awesome. That's all I can really say about her. And let's not forget her, I think it's poker face? Although, am I the only one who thinks that when she talks, she sounds like she has a blocked nose? Yeah, it's probably just me. There's actually nothing about Kana that I don't like. She's ridiculously funny, she's pretty cute, she's a great friend. How can anyone not like her? Well, as with any anime character, she's not for everyone. Still, she easily makes number 3. At number 2 is, in my opinion, the most adorable person here. She may be a hopeless scatterbrain, but she makes up for this with sheer kawaiiness. Coming in at 2 is Hime Haruno. I feel the title Queen of the Nosebleeders would be an appropriate title for her. Seriously, with all the hemorrhaging she does, how is she not dead? Well, regardless, she's insanely lovable. Scatterbrained, as I've said, but lovable. She's basically an anemic Tsukasa Hiragi. I really love watching her do a thing in Achikachi. Whoever she marries is going to be very lucky. However, they'd better not be squeamish. Hime would be an awesome friend. I would have loved to have had someone like her at school. She always makes me smile. Maybe not quite as much as Sumiki, but she's still just as good. She just needs to learn to stand her ground against Mayoi. She's too much of a pushover. However, she still earns her place as this list's runner-up. Okay, time for a top 10 anime girls who are not my 13 Angels recap. Number 10, Sonia. Number 9, Kurumi Momose. Number 8, Ritsu Tainaka. Number 7, Rena Lanford. Number 6, Saiko Busujima. Number 5, Homura Akemi. Number 4, Yuri Nakamura or Yuripi. Number 3, Karin Machina. And number 2, Hime Haruno. And finally, number 1, my favorite non-13 angel girl. A very recent addition to my favorites folder, and a girl who just oozes beauty, moe, hilarity, and badassery. At number 1 is the soldier girl herself, and I hope I pronounced her last name right, Rise Tadeza. Anyone who's watched Is the Order a Rabbit / Gochimon wa Usagi desu ka will know why she's here. I mean, why shouldn't she be? She's awesome! It only took me about 5 episodes before she was conferred my favorite character of the show. I utterly adore her. She reminds me so much of my Asunyan, it's ridiculous. Of course, Rise has a bit more confidence than Asusa. I do have one question though. Does the village the girls live in have no weapons laws or anything? I think I read somewhere that Rise's gun is a model gun, and I'm hoping that it and her combat knife are just models, but is it really okay for her to be carrying those around with her, even if it is for self-defense? Somebody enlighten me. Well, regardless, I'm putting Rise at 1 mainly because there is nothing about her that is unlikable, at least to me. She is indeed a rare breed in anime, and I challenge you to find someone better than her. Or if not someone better than her, then someone with a better introduction. That is likely going to remain my favorite moment with her for a long time. Well, it's about time I wrap this up. Again, I'm just getting back into these, so please leave your thoughts and comments below. And please subscribe to me. I'd really like some followers. And with that, sayonara.